For this interview, if you could just state your first and last name along with your residency.
Steve Fox, F-O-X, in Macomb Township.
And what is your occupation?
Assistant Prosecuting Attorney.
And what college did you attend?
Wayne State University Law School and Michigan State University for undergrad.
So there's rumors going on that you're going to be running for Macomb County Circuit Court Judge. Is that correct?
They are not rumors, they're absolutely correct.
And exactly what does that position entail?
That would be a circuit court judge position. It is over all of Macomb County. There are a number of circuit court judges, and their responsibility in the circuit court is for felony level criminal cases and for civil cases dealing with disputes of more than $25,000.
And why do you want this position?
I think it's an amazing opportunity to really get back to the community. It's an amazing chance to make sure that the families and the businesses and individuals in Macomb County are given not only the most respect but the most protection they possibly can be. I've spent the last 8 years dedicating my life to make sure that the victims of crime and the families and businesses of Macomb are taken care of. And there's no better position to make sure that happens, not just in the criminal context, but also in the civil context, that parties are treated fairly, individuals and businesses in the county are treated fairly, and that legal decisions are made in the correct way in everybody's best interest. Because really, even if you don't have a case in the court, that's what we should all want in our own system.
And what qualifications do you have for running for this position?
Well, I graduated from law school at Wayne State in 2002. I was on the law review. I graduated near the top of my class, and I left there. During law school, I also interned at the United States Attorney's Office in their civil division and a large law firm called Dickinson Wright. After law school, I practiced for 4 years at a law firm called Foley & Lardner in Detroit. It's an international law firm. I did primarily large-scale commercial litigation, labor and employment law. So a very wide breadth of civil litigation that the circuit court deals with on a daily basis. And I did that for about 4 years until in 2005, so about 8 years ago, I left to become an assistant prosecuting attorney for Macomb County. I'm now the chair of our cold case unit. I'm a first chair assistant prosecutor responsible for all felony trials in a particular courtroom. And I handle primarily capital and large level felony cases. I've actually tried more than 100 felony jury trials in the last 8 years. So my experience is not just at the criminal level, but at the civil level as well, both as a practical conference room type outside the courtroom experience, as well as in the courtroom experience. It's quite simply, it can't be matched. So. I don't want to sound arrogant by any means, but that's, I'm very proud of my experience, and I'm very proud that I've had that breadth of experience. And quite frankly, from a personal level, we're a unionized shop, so to speak, and my brethren in the office were nice enough to elect me to be on the 2010 bargaining committee for our office. So I had the ability and the chance to stand in the position of a bargaining representative for our office, and that helped me not only to relate to the labor and employment aspects from a personal level, in addition to the legal experience I have with them, but also very much puts me in the context as a party of settlement negotiations and stuff like that parties all have to deal with before they ever get in touch with a lawyer or before they ever get before a judge looking for a final decision. So I'm very proud of that experience, and I hope that it will help me make sure that the individuals in Macomb County and the businesses in Macomb County are well taken care of.
And what would you say is your best achievement this far, like personally, that you're most proud of?
What I'm most proud of is
Yes.
My son Carter and my daughter Vivian running around, and my wife Rita still standing to be around me. But no, the reality is I have a wonderful family. I'm very proud of our family and how we've continued on. I'm very, very happy. There's nothing that I can learn from work that I haven't been taught tenfold at home. From a professional standpoint, I'm very proud of the work I've done on several homicide cases that put you in a very difficult position to answer a question that when I was sitting in a corporate boardroom dealing with CEOs of companies, they were always very intellectually stimulating conversations. Uh, but nothing will compare to the conversation I had to have with a woman whose husband was murdered when he was closing Buscemi's, and he was making close to minimum wage, trying to earn money for her and her then 11-month-old daughter, and having to answer the question, why him? You know, he's just trying to do the right thing, why him? And it's an impossible question to answer, but it made me very proud to be able to sit next to her and to comfort her and to put everything I could into that case to make sure that the gentlemen who were responsible for that man's death never had the chance to walk the street again.
And what would you say worries you about running for judge?
Well, my biggest worry is, quite frankly, the impact on my family. My family is incredibly supportive. They are behind me 100% and willing to do everything. But I know, quite realistically, that it's going to be an incredibly busy time. There's going to be a lot of time where I'm not able to be home for dinner as I normally am, or home for reading bedtime stories as I am most every other night. So that scares me, is the time away from my family and not giving them everything I wish I could always give them. But they all know that it's for the best in the long run, that this really is an important decision. It's a family-based decision. And I know I'm going to love my position whether I win or lose. I'm going to be very proud of the race I run. And I'm going to be very proud of, hopefully, the votes I earn. Whether or not that's enough, I don't know. I just want to make sure that my family is in a good position at the end of it emotionally. So that makes me nervous a little bit.
And if you were to lose, what would be your next steps? What would you do after that?
Well, I would continue on as an assistant prosecutor. I love my job. I love what I'm able to do for the community as part of my job. Eric Smith, the prosecuting attorney, is my boss, and he is absolutely fantastic to work for. I really am blessed to have this position, but also to have a boss who supports me 100% and is backing me fully for this next step, because I think he recognizes that while we as prosecutors can do everything possible to make sure that not only are people convicted of committing crimes, but to make sure that the right people are convicted of committing crimes. Because the reality is, my job isn't to get a conviction. My job is to get justice. And if that means that the wrong person is charged, I have to make sure that that person does not get wrapped into the system, that I protect them just like I do go after those who have really committed the wrong. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's the judge who determines what happens next for that